On the app, there are a couple things I want to point out that I think all owners should do right away when you get your drone if you want to have the best flying experience. And that is, you go to Settings, under Remote Control, you're going to want to do a remote control calibration. You can also start a remote control calibration without having a mobile device or the phone plugged in by pressing down the hold to take off button and the power button simultaneously for about 10 seconds. It'll beep, it'll power up, and it'll go immediately into the stick calibration. And then very simply, you just move each stick individually to all 8 positions, and then do that with the other stick, and then you also calibrate the gimbal adjustment wheel. Very important that you do that, because that means then when everything is in its center detent position, the sticks don't have any forces being applied to them, the spring-loaded gimbal wheel is in its center position, that everything is at 0. So the drone won't be trying to drift forward or backwards. I've already seen at least one report on the internet, somebody flying their brand new Evo II 8K and complaining that it was drifting off to the left. And my guess is, because I've only seen one person complain about this, that on their particular remote controller, it just needs to have a calibration done. Alright, I'm now going to take you through the procedure for doing a remote control calibration. This is a way of doing the remote control calibration using only the remote control. You do not need a mobile device. It does not need to be connected to your drone. And you do this by simply simultaneously, with the drone in the off position, pressing the power button and the takeoff landing button, which are the 2 buttons on the left hand side. You press them and hold them simultaneously until it beeps. And then you let go, and the remote control will power up, and it will come up in the stick calibration screen. And to calibrate the sticks left and right, you simply take each stick and you rotate it to each of the 8 positions shown on the screen. And you can actually feel with your fingers, there's a little detent position at each of these 8 locations, and I just take it around in a 360-degree circle to the extremes, and when all of the paths are lit up, all of the line segments are lit up, you know that stick is done. Now we're going to do the same thing with the left stick. You can start in any position, and if you miss one by going past it, it's no problem. Just go back and get it. You learn to do this slowly. You can just get each one. Alright, 2 sticks are done. Now we also need to calibrate the gimbal adjust wheel, which is on the side of the drone over here, and you do that. Here's the little graphic for it up here. You rotate it fully clockwise until it turns green. You let go, rotate it fully counterclockwise, and you will get this message: calibration successful. That's all you need to do to calibrate the sticks and the gimbal wheel for the Evo II remote controller. What you are accomplishing by doing this is to ensure that when these 2 sticks are in their center detent position and the gimbal wheel is in its center detent position, that there is 0 voltage signal coming from the remote control going to the drone. That way, when you push this stick up, you will fly true forward, backwards, you will fly backwards, left, right. The stick over here, when you rotate, when you take it to its extreme on the left, you'll be rotating counterclockwise. To the right, you'll be rotating clockwise. Pushing it forward, you go straight up, and backwards, straight down. So this will ensure that you get true straight flights when that's what you want. And to demonstrate this, after I did a remote control calibration, the day I received the drone, the next day I was able to go out, and it was a very windy day, 17-mile-an-hour crosswinds aloft, and I flew the drone out at 100 feet elevation, 2,000 feet with a diagonal 17-mile-an-hour crosswind. It flew perfectly straight, and then I pulled the stick straight back, reversed the drone until it flew the entire 2,000 feet backwards to me, and when it got back to me, it was directly overhead. It was amazing. I have never had a drone that flew that true and straight, and the heading flight software was able to adjust automatically and continuously for a 17-mile-an-hour crosswind. So please calibrate your sticks, and you will be very, very, very pleased with how well and true that this drone can fly. Thank you. Under gimbal, at the very bottom though, is a setting called Gimbal Pitch EXP. That is the sensitivity of your gimbal adjust wheel. If you want to have nice cinematic videos, and when you're lowering and raising the camera, you're going to want to lower that setting down from its default of 50 down to, I would suggest, 25 or 20. And then you will get very nice, slow pivot down and pivot up. See, I've got it turned halfway and it's still going that slowly. That's what you want to have. So in addition to the gimbal wheel sensitivity adjustment, which is under the gimbal settings, you're also going to want to go to flight control, which is the first item listed under settings. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. You may not even realize there's additional settings on this page. You have to scroll to the bottom. Among other things, there's boat mode, compass calibration, and the very last thing is advanced settings, which then takes you to another screen, which you can set two things. Front LED indicators, right? This one, turn them on or off. You may want to turn those off for night flights, for example. But the other important setting in terms of cinematic video is the second setting, which is, again, EXP, which takes you to the next page, which is a little graphic where you can adjust the sensitivity of the command sticks. And what you're going to want to do is drag the top part of this graphic all the way to the right. The default setting is a straight diagonal line on this chart, which is a setting of 0.5. If you drag it all the way to the right, you can set it as low as 0.2. It says the range is 0.2 to 0.7, but what you want is nice, slow, smooth left and right yaws when you're doing panoramic videos. So I'm going to bring this up to the screen so that you can see what this graphic looks like. Here we are in the Autel Flight app. I'm going to go into settings, and the gimbal sensitivity setting is down here in the bottom. Gimbal. And then here's where you set the pitch sensitivity. Just scroll back and forth. You want to lower it down to 2.5. And then under flight control, scroll to the bottom of the screen, go to advanced settings, EXP, and then here's the default where it's set at a sensitivity of 0.5, which is a diagonal line, and you just take your finger and drag it that way and take it to 0.2. Okay? So this way you'll have nice cinematic gimbal camera raises and lowers. So gimbal angle adjustment will be nice and smooth, and your rotation left and right will be much less sensitive, and you'll be able to move the stick left and right a little bit and get just the very tiniest amount of slow rotation, which is what you want.